Okay, Shalom, Shalom, Kwam Yasha'Allah, Koholoyim La Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Brakahakadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and that by the Spirit taught us this beautiful truth. And just want to say the water to all the H.I.M and Akwaf that's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai to the best of their ability. This is Hanan Nawaf. Just coming at you with another quick lesson, praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. And this is something that I didn't know about until I seen it in the news. I guess it's been ongoing though. But it says Saturday will be the last day for the Windsor Tunnel Bus, right? Now the Windsor Tunnel Bus is a bus that goes back and forth from Detroit to Canada, which is right across the border right there. Quick little ride across. Don't take that long, you know what I'm saying? Maybe 5-10 minutes, whatever amount of time. But I know it's a lot of people with that's from Canada that actually work in Detroit, and people that work in that live in Detroit work in Canada. So you can catch that bus across there, same old, like a regular bus, $2, whatever the amount may be. I'm not sure exactly these days, but a lot of people from Canada, when Trump first done those tariffs, they stuck to their patriotism, like they fuck America, right? So this is gonna America been losing a lot of money anyway, because a lot of Canadians come through the borders. It's a few different borders. I'm not sure exactly how many. I know you can come through New York. I think Spokane, Washington area. It's a few different borders. I'm not sure how many. It could be anywhere from, I don't know, shit. It could be maybe 5 to 10 of them, you know what I'm saying, border crossings throughout the top part of the map where you can go into Canada. But, Canadians come here and they spend money, man. Because, right here downtown Detroit, they come over here to the casinos. There's 3 different casinos downtown. There's all kinds of eateries, you know what I'm saying, that's downtown. You have the Joe Louis Arena, which they used to come, because Canada got a couple of different hockey teams. I think they got the Maple Leafs. I'm not sure about the hockey shit anyway, but I know they come over here. They haven't been coming to watch the games like how they used to, because they got the new Joe Louis, the new Red Wings hockey center downtown, which is not that old. And they haven't been coming over here, and they've been missing a lot of money on that end. They would normally come to the Little Caesar Arena, you know what I'm saying, to watch concerts, which they haven't been going down there. You got, of course, the NBA, the Pistons hookup is right there, you know what I'm saying, which they got the Toronto Raptors. They would come over here and watch the home games and stuff like that. Just a lot of stuff going on downtown, Detroit, because they built it up really nice, you know what I'm saying. I don't venture down there because of the gentrification part of it. I don't give a fuck. I'm not going down there. I don't spend no money in downtown Detroit. They lost my money years back, so I don't venture that way. But this used to be, you can get on the bus, you can go to Canada, man, and shit. Canada is you have more bang for your buck as far as the dollar. I remember, I'm not sure what the dollar is now, because the dollar done fell so much, but man, you used to be able to go over there and get triple for your money over there in Canada, man. Hit the duty-free system, whatever, go through their shop, grab what you want to grab. The age of going to the bar was like 19, so it was real popular for, us when I was younger. Instead of being 21 and being able to go to a bar, you used to be able to go to a full-fledged strip club at the age of 19, you know what I'm saying? Like they had, marijuana was legal over there well before it was legal here in the America. So, but that was way back, man, when I was in the world. But this money that they're losing is it's really affecting the economy. See, Trump, he's talking about tariffs and billions of dollars coming in, man. Nobody's seeing that shit, and then with all these tariffs and him claiming that, all this money is being made, is going to pay off the national debt. Then why is the national debt then got larger since you've been there? The national debt then grew extra, I think it's at $37 trillion now. But anyway, this is crazy. I never knew this. This is going to be bad action, man. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people get on that bus every day. It says the Windsor Tunnel Bus, which runs between Detroit and Windsor, will have its last day of service on Saturday. Windsor Mayor to veto funding for tunnel bus service with Detroit amid tariff fight. The service, which shuttles about 40,000 people across the border every year, ends at the end of August after Windsor's mayor vetoed City Council's decision to fund the bus future. So they pissed with Trump. So it's, you know, a bunch of that tit for tat shit with these Edomites, man. Okay, it says the tunnel bus operated by Transit Windsor and funded by Windsor runs 7 days a week with multiple stops on both sides of the border. It's basically an economic development engine for the city of Detroit. Windsor Mayor Drew Dilkins told us in February. Almost all of the traffic is one way from Windsor to Detroit. Yeah, but hey, the people didn't mind it. I mean, you know, I mean, you know. It says Dilkins says mostly Canadians use the bus to go to concerts, sporting events, shops, and restaurants in Detroit. Dilkins said in February he vetoed the funding in response to tariff threats from President Donald Trump. I just can't in good conscience have Windsor taxpayers subsidize economic development in the United States at the time when the President of the United States is literally putting my country and community under economic attack. So yeah, they about to shut that shit down. I had no idea, but now I went into ChatGPT because I had been hearing about all this stuff beforehand anyway. You know, this is when it all jumped off, first started. We was, you know, seeing the numbers, you know what I'm saying, as far as tourism and how much money America has actually lost in these past 7 months or whatever since Trump has been there. Okay, so I asked what's an estimated amount of tourism money America has lost with Canada. Okay, it says, if you're asking how much tourism spending the U.S. has lost due to the fewer Canadian visitors in 2025, here's a clear summary based on the latest data. Canadian tourism to the U.S. Canadian tourists contributed about $20.5 billion in spending to the U.S. in 2024. That's a lot of money, man. $20 billion? God damn. Now check it out. Look at how much it's done dropped in the past 6 or 7 months. Travel from Canada in 2025 is down dramatically, over 20 to 33% for air, nobody's flying in, land visits falling across multiple states and months, right? So it's not only will, you know what I'm saying, they'll get on that bus and come over here to Detroit. That's just right here in Detroit. They're not doing, I think there's a border in New York, all these different borders. They're not coming across there. And then at the same time too, there's been, you know, people getting stopped, you know, so to speak, as far as like the border patrols and, you know, with this immigrant shit that Trump got going on, because a lot of immigrants, they left America, man, and went to Canada. All of them didn't go towards Mexico and the border down that way like people suspected. A lot of so-called, and those Canadians accepted them. A lot of the ones that's here up in the upper, you know, peninsula, so to speak, in this area, a lot of those jakes, they went over there to Canada, man. But this is a lot of percentage that's down. But let me just grab a quick scripture real quick. And it's just really that separation of Esau, that's all. Because not only is Esau being separated in these different countries individually, they're being separated or divided just as a whole, as a people globally. Because it's a lot of infighting, you know. It's about that time where, you know, the Egyptian gonna come up against each other, you know, with these kingdoms. Matter of fact, that's kingdom against kingdom, man. City against city and all that different stuff. But let's get Matthew 12 and 25. Yeah, that's a lot of money lost. That's just within the 6 months, 20 billion. Or no, I would guess. I guess maybe you could slash that probably about in half. But it's got to be more though. It's got to be more. It's probably well over 20 billion right now, just at this point in this year. Matthew 12 and 25. And it reads, and Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And, you know, this is Esau's kingdom. Esau is against Esau right now. Even within these countries where Esau overall dominate, you know, they're all infighting. They're all against each other. The right is against the left, Democratic against the Republican, you know, all that bullshit. You know, and just, you know, it's just a smorgasbord of infighting in the homes. The family structure is through, you know. But those Canadians, man, you know, they you know, see, you know, every time I've ever gone on over there, you know, it's pretty decent. You know, they got a nice country. You know, they're definitely a lot more, I guess, you know, a little more tolerable than these Edomites here in America. I'll put it that way. But they treat the Native American Indians, so-called Native American Indians over there, really, really bad, you know, which is the tribe of Gad on that border right there. But anyway, verse 26, it says, and if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? Right? So now, and matter of fact, they was just down there, because you know, you can go down on the Riverwalk downtown Detroit, and you can look over the river and see Canada. It's just light. It's right there. You know what I'm saying? And they had like these rallies downtown Detroit and rallies in downtown Canada, or at that border, where, you know, a lot of these Americans was like, basically they support Canada. They not with Trump in the bullshit. With those Canadians, they like, fuck that. We don't want it. We still not coming over there. You know, we're not going to spend our money there. And also too, I just seen it, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I think 5 major whiskey brands, which I could look that up too, have gone under here in the Americas because of those tariffs as well. Because on those Canadians, they like whiskey. You know, there's a lot more. Those Edomites drink a little more whiskey than these Edomites here. You know, in the Americas. You know, you have to have an acquired taste for whiskey, bourbon, and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But with those tariffs, what they started to do was they started to box all that shit up in those stores over there. And they was like, we're not selling this shit. We're not selling y'all shit. So those tariff wars, you know, with Trump, it's done killed a lot of business here. And not to mention, you know, with the food, with those immigrants that was picking all the fruits and vegetables, this man, he has really, he's thrown this place into a real whirlwind, man. But they're on TV telling you about how good the economy is, and, you know, things are getting cheaper when it's not. You know, you know, people out here about to lose their goddamn minds, man. He done stripped see all that DEI. I was watching the Elder earlier, and he had a video in which is statistically the DEI, it benefited so-called white women, number one, first, then the so-called white man secondarily, and then, you know, so-called people of color came into play. You know what I'm saying? Because they try to make it seem as if our people are the ones that's sucking up all the food stamps, they sucking up all the, you know, the Section 8 and benefits and all this other stuff. In the meanwhile, no, it's really the so-called white man. And mainly you subsidizing Israel. Those are so-called white people that have absolutely nothing to do with America. So they're getting welfare off your ass, you know what I'm saying? Then the average so-called white family, they're the ones that's swooping up on all that money, but they make it seem as if it's you Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans that you're the problem, right? Let's go back into chat. Let's see what else they got in here. Damn, what just happened? Yeah, that's a lot of money though. Damn, I ain't realized it was that much. It says, okay, we don't need to get all that. Estimated losses attributable. Okay, yeah, so they got the source. Okay, U.S. Travel Association. They got a 20% drop in tourism. What else they got? Broader industry estimates. So it says net estimate Canada specific, if Canadian visitors contributed 20.5 billion in 2024 and their travel in 2025 is down 20 to 33%, then lost spending is estimated between 4 to 7 billion. Okay, and models where Canada is a large chunk of international decline. The total U.S. tourism revenue lost from all foreigners in forecasts at up to 9 billion and 12.5 billion in some projections. Lost Canadian tourism spending alone. Okay, all right, we just got that. Okay, so overall, I mean, well, hey, that's a lot of money being missed out on. And then you have to realize it's a lot of shops downtown, man, that really depend upon that Canadian tourism, man. That's where all the money is going to. Is, you know, it's really, you know, they come and stay in hotels and, you know, things of that nature. They go to the casino again, you know, and you know, they shop, they eat. There's certain restaurants here that they may not have there. You know, they just, you know, people just getting out and just, you know, it's an experience. You know what I'm saying? You know, because Canada is definitely far different from the U.S. and vice versa. So, you know, them getting away, or just, I'm not sure about, you know, Michiganders, you know, like so-called black people. We're mainly the ones that's here in Detroit. But we don't go to Canada like that. It's really these Edomites that live, you know, in the state. You know, they'll come from further up or, you know, further out, and they'll go over there and do certain things because, you know, Canada got their own casino too, right across the border, right on the river. You can see their casino right there on the river walk as well. But if you go to their casino, of course, your money, it stretches a little bit longer. So, you know, a lot of people would go over there. You know, they got those, they real big on bingo and, you know, a bunch of shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, you can go over there and get, you know, clothing cheaper, boots and coats, and pretty much a lot better quality in a lot of senses. You know what I'm saying? So it's, you know, it's people from Michigan that go that way. But I will say that more, if anybody's going to really lose out, it's going to be, you know, the American side of it. And they even out in Cali, because people would, you know, those Canadians, man, they go all over the U.S. Motherfuckers be going to Disney World, Disneyland, you know, and hitting all kinds of, you know, spots in California. They going to, you know, they hit Vegas, they'll go out there. You know, it's not just here in this area. But, you know, Esau, he's just fucking everything up, man. And his kingdom is falling. And that's a beautiful thing. Let me get this real quick. Yeah, man, we love seeing this shit fall. And people are not really seeing the effects of the tariffs as of yet. They're not seeing the effects of those executive orders that Trump done passed to clip a lot of these benefits that these Americans have, man. Because, again, food is not getting cheaper. I'm going to tell you that shit now. Food is going up. That shit, the gas is not getting cheaper. None of this shit is getting cheaper, like how this guy is on TV talking about we have the greatest economy. Our economy is hot right now. Like, nigga, who the fuck you think you fooling? People, you can see the complaints with just people on TikTok. You can see the complaints with people with all these YouTube channels and all this, just talking shit about your government, man. These people, even megas that voted for Trump, are talking shit now. But this is Ecclesiasticus 25:7. It says, "There be 9 things which I have judged in mine heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue, a man that have joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy." And that's what we're witnessing right now, the fall of our enemy, man. And you should be happy about that. And continue on praying for it. See, the average person will look at us like we stupid as hell for praying for the downfall of the place where we live. But they don't understand. We're looking, we're looking to the bigger picture, man. It's a bigger picture involved. We're trying to make it to the kingdom, man. Fuck this man's place. I'm just gonna put in how many whiskey companies, because I just seen that. Yeah, they, because like they was getting most of they bread from, because those Canadians, they drink that shit. You got people in America that drink whiskey, but the demographics done changed when it comes to liquor anyway. A lot of these youngsters, they vaping and smoking damn marijuana. They not really big on like drink like that. I'm just gonna see how many have closed. I just seen this too. Let me see. Let me see. In the U.S. Yep, it says, while there's no exact total, reports from mid-2024 and early 2025 indicate that at least dozens of U.S. craft distilleries have closed, with one source mentioning a list of around 45 distilleries that closed since the start of 2023, and a recent crisis in the industry leading to several high-profile bankruptcies in Kentucky, including Luca Mariano, Garrard County Distillery, and Kentucky Owl. And a lot of this stuff is, Edomites that stole ideas from slaves. Jake, had Jake, because Jake was into all that stuff, man. Jake knew all about a damn distillery and how to make, whiskey and beer and whatever the hell else. But Esau, take the damn patent and get all the damn credit and been living off of it for hundreds of years. Some of these companies are, 100 years or so old, man. And so, the Lord is really cutting their asses down. Yep, here's right here. Kentucky's $9 billion, that's a lot of money, $9 billion whiskey industry in crisis as Gen Z drinkers shun bourbon, tariffs take toll. And this was just a few weeks back here, August 5th. And they shutting down distilleries, that's killing jobs. You know what I'm saying? And this shit is not coming back. And this is just the Lord, cutting into these, cutting into Esau, man. Remember, this is one of the very first things he overcame the so-called Native American Indians with, man, was that spirits, man, that fire water. Yep, it says the financial devastation extends far beyond individual companies. More than 23,000 workers across Kentucky whiskey region depend on industry for their livelihood, which combined wages total 1.6 billion. Yep, so it's a lot of one business like that goes out of business, that sends a lot of businesses into a tailspin. Because people not there, the jobs is gone. They're not making no money no more. A lot of things around that shit get to shuttering. You have to think about, something as simple as a damn coffee shop, or something as simple as a dry cleaners, or something as simple as a burger joint, something as simple as just going to get a pair of shoes. When you have a lot of those companies like that, that's why when factories come in, they get those tax incentives, and then once they up and leave, it turned a damn place into a damn ghost town. A lot of these towns and cities, they just shut down and shutter because all the business is gone. People start moving out. People can't afford to pay the damn mortgages and stuff like that no more. Cause see, a company like this, everybody in town damn near be working at that particular company. Minus you got your fast food workers. Somebody might be working at a damn McDonald's. Your other little stuff like that. But we talking about factories that really run towns. Like really run cities, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, me being here in Detroit, you have companies like Ford Motor Company, H.I.M, those plant jobs and stuff like that. If those jobs were to pick up and leave, that would leave a city like Detroit and because this didn't happen before, you know what I'm saying? But it'll leave it as a damn ghost town, pretty much. People figure they're gonna get up and just go ahead and just pack up and leave because the money is not there no more. So anyway, that's just another thing that I had thought of when it comes to Esau's kingdom falling. And we applaud it, man. We applaud it. But this is crazy because I never knew about this though. Because I never taken that bus before. Normally just drive over there because it's not that far away. You can actually ride your damn bike across the over there to Canada, man. It's not that far. You can either go you can't ride no bike in the tunnel, but you can go through the tunnel, or you can go over the bridge. Matter of fact, they just built the new bridge that's going over there, which they was fighting back and forth. Some damn Edomites on the fucking bridge and shit. A damn family just been getting paid for I don't know how fucking long, 100 years or how. You these damn Edomites own a land and open up a goddamn easy pass route, a turnpike on your ass, you know what I'm saying, and charge you to travel, man, through a land that's supposedly free, So that's the way Esau gets down. So we're not tripping on nothing like this. I say they continue and let this shit go ahead and fall and falter, because this was big business. I mean, it's actually really this is kind of crazy, you know what I'm saying? Like this right here, this is a real fall of the enemy, man. This is really a real fall. Because these buses coming back and forth down there, you can go down. Matter of fact, that's where the I think that's where the WFI can't be at, but GMS is right down there in that area. But those people, man, they come in, get off that bus, man, and walk through downtown Detroit. You know what I'm saying? You can get a damn scooter, get on that, but you can get you a damn Uber to wherever you or everything is within walking distance from there. Really, in reality, once you get to the bus terminal, shit, as soon as you come out of there, man, shit, you can boil out of control downtown, man. But all that shit is over with. Now, I know they taking a hit because that's a lot of tourism, man. That's just here in Detroit. Again, we're not talking about all the other border come-ins. I'm not sure exactly where they're all at, but they all taking a hit, man, because those Canadians is like, fuck America. We're not coming there. You know what I'm saying? And that's that infighting. That's that infighting of these Edomites, man. And it's only going to get worse. Because that's Trump. He's been running through, he's been bullying and, he's the let's make a deal guy. And he's talking about these deals, but you bullshitting people. You're not being fair. You know, you're running in, you're bullying every goddamn body. And now these countries are looking like, nah, we good. That's like India. You know, they talking about putting extra tariffs on India. You know, because they're getting that Russian oil. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, but you're not giving them no cheap oil. How you gonna try and disrupt our economy? Goddamn it, we need oil for the winter. We need oil for energy. We need oil. You know what I'm saying? We're not getting it from you, but you want to sanction us and put tariffs on us because we're dealing with somebody that you don't like. That shit is crazy, bro. And these countries are starting to get sick of that shit. So it's actually building up to a complete fall, man. So, you know, I just wanted to touch on this real quick. Pray that the lesson was edifying. With that, Kwame Yasha Allah and a Baba Ball.